Hi everybody! Today we are beginning a new series. It's called Toy Bible Stories. All kids love toys. Most toy boxes are full of many different toys. We like to play with different toys for different reasons, but they are all used for one main purpose: to play. All through the Bible, God used very different people to carry out His main purpose: to let the world know who God is and how much He loves us. Each week we'll use common toys to teach Bible stories about very different people in the Bible, who all have something to teach us about living out God's main purpose. I'm looking forward to our new series, and I hope you are too. Today's toy is a cowboy hat. Cowboys aren't the popular toy they once were, but many decades ago, a cowboy hat was the best toy a boy and many girls could ever ask for. There were no space toys, no video games, no after-school cartoons, and lots of kids thought that the best TV shows were westerns. Playing cowboys was the most fun you could have with your friends. Cowboys, they had a hard life. Some worked hard driving cattle across the wilderness to the big city. Some worked hard to keep the streets clear of bad guys. Cowboys face tough choices every day. Today's Bible video is about a boy named David. His tough choice was whether or not to fight a giant.
Ephesians 2, 4, and 5.
Being rich in mercy because of the great love with which He loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, made us alive, alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved, by grace you have been saved.
Of the great love with which He loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses.
Made us alive, alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved, by grace you have been saved.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a none like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
The Philistines, an enemy of the people of Israel, drew up their troops for battle and set up camp on a hill. King Saul and the Israelites came together and camped on a hill on the other side of a valley from the Philistines to prepare to fight the enemy forces. Goliath, one of the Philistine soldiers who was a giant at nearly 10 feet tall, stepped out into the open. Covered in hundreds of pounds of bronze armor and carrying a spear the size of a fence rail, he called out to the Israelite troops, "Why bother using your whole army? Pick your best fighter to battle me. If he kills me, the Philistines will all become your slaves. But if I kill him, you'll all be our slaves and serve us." When Saul and his troops heard the Goliath's challenge, they became terrified and lost all hope. Away from the battlefield, Jesse and his youngest son David were home in Bethlehem. Jesse was too old and David was too young to join Saul's army, but Jesse's 3 oldest sons had followed the king to war. One day, Jesse told David to take food to his brothers in the camp. Jesse said, "Check in on your brothers to see whether they are getting along all right, and let me know how they're doing." David got up early the next morning and started off toward the battlefield to bring his brothers the food. He arrived at the camp just as the army was moving into battle formation, shouting their war cry. David ran to find his brothers within the army's ranks. While they were talking together, Goliath stepped out and gave the same challenge he had issued before. As the Israelite soldiers fled in fear, David asked what the man who killed Goliath would receive. They said, "The king will give the man who kills the giant riches, his daughter as a bride, and freedom for his whole family." Eliab, his oldest brother, heard David speaking with the men and got mad. "What are you doing here? Why aren't you minding your sheep?" David replied, "What's wrong? All I did was ask a question." King Saul called for David. "Master," said David, "don't give up hope. I'm ready to go and fight this Philistine." Saul answered David, "You can't fight Goliath. You're too young and inexperienced, and he's been fighting since before you were born." David replied, "I've been a shepherd, tending sheep for my father. Whenever a lion or bear came and took a lamb from the flock, I'd go after it, knock it down, and rescue the lamb. If it turned on me, I'd grab it by the throat, wring its neck, and kill it. Lion or bear, it made no difference. I killed it. And I'll do the same to this Philistine pig who is taunting the troops of God. God, who delivered me from the teeth of the lion and the claws of the bear, will deliver me from this Philistine." Saul said, "Go, and God help you." Then Saul outfitted David in his own battle armor. Saul put his bronze helmet on David's head and belted his sword on him over the armor. David tried to walk, but he could hardly take a single step. David told Saul, "I can't even move with all this stuff on me. I'm not used to this." And he took it all off. Then David took his shepherd's staff, selected 5 smooth stones from the brook, and put them in the pocket of his shepherd's pack. He grabbed his sling and headed out to face Goliath. Goliath looked down at David and laughed as he said, "Am I a dog that you come after me with a stick?" David answered, "You come at me with sword, spear, and battle axe. I come at you in the name of God, the God of Israel's troops, whom you curse and mock. This very day God is handing you over to me. Everyone gathered here will learn that God doesn't save by means of sword or spear. The battle belongs to God, and He's handing you to us on a platter. David's words angered Goliath, and he rose and moved toward David. David ran toward Goliath, reached into his pocket for a stone, slung it, and hit Goliath hard in the forehead. David's stone hit Goliath so hard it became embedded in his head and killed him. Goliath fell face down in the dirt. Then David ran up, stood over him, pulled the giant's sword from its sheath, and finished the job by cutting off Goliath's head. When the Philistines saw that their great champion was dead, they scattered, running for their lives. David was brought before King Saul. The king asked David, "Whose son are you?" David replied, "I am the son of Jesse, who lives in Bethlehem."
When David walked out to face Goliath, he wasn't trusting his aim or his weapon to win this battle. David was trusting God. David reminds us when we face tough choices, God wants us to pray about them. God always wants us to share what's on our heart and ask for His blessings and His wisdom. When you see a cowboy hat or a cowboy toy or anything that reminds you of the Old West, remember to pray. Tell God what's on your mind and let God light the trail for you to follow. See you next time.